Hi, everybody. This is the Comic Book Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Comic Book Hut. And hopefully, you like this video. Yes, Star Wars is dead. Star Wars is dead. Yes, if you didn't know that, Star Wars is dead. And according to Mark Hamill and overall goofball on the internet and just deranged individual, he has basically said it's dead. IGN had this report about him. And he's really just completely lost his mind. He's not on X anymore. He's on, I guess, Blue Sky. It's completely nuts. But the headline goes, Luke Skywalker actor Mark Hamill officially rules out Star Wars return. There's no way I'm going to appear as a naked Force ghost. Well, thank God. It's not like that time when he dropped his pants during that award ceremony. Is that what he means? I left my robes behind. And he left his belt behind, too, that time. Or he should wear suspenders. I never seen anybody move that fast since I don't know what. If you were wondering whether Mark Hamill might play Luke Skywalker once again as a Force ghost, think again. The legendary actor has ruled out a return to the world-famous sci-fi franchise, saying it's now time for Star Wars to move past legacy characters and focus on the future. That's right. That's been a problem with a lot of the stuff that's going on right now. Not only with Star Wars, but Star Trek as well. We're stuck in the past. Stuck on some Jedi from the past, man. It's time to move on. In an interview with comicbook.com to promote his new movie, The Life of Chuck. Sure, that's a rip-roar. 73-year-old Hamill was asked about a potential return as Luke's Force ghost in an upcoming Rey-led Star Wars movie, New Jedi Order. His answer was loud and clear, no chance. After all, Luke left his robes behind in 2017's The Last Jedi. And what a horrible way he went, too. As a character. And he knows it, too. Quote, I am so grateful, George Lucas, for letting me be a part of that back in the day. The humble days when George called Star Wars the most expensive, low-budget movie ever made, Hamill replied. We never expected to become a permanent franchise and a part of pop culture like that. But my deal is I had my life. I'm appreciative of that. But I really think they should focus on the future and all the new characters. And by the way, when I disappeared in The Last Jedi, I left my robes behind. And there's no way I'm going to appear as a naked ghost Force ghost. Like I said, he dropped his robe. At least he didn't drop his pants when he went out in that scene. Rey, however, is set to return to the world of Star Wars in the Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy directed sequel to the universally panned Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. It will tell the story of Rey as she looks to rebuild the Jedi Order roughly 15 years after the events of that film. So we're going to get the daughter and the granddaughter of the most evil Sith Lord in the galaxy is going to rebrand the Jedi Order. Oh, that's a great idea. Remember, she's the granddaughter of one of the greatest villains in history and movies. They tried to make her into a heroic figure. That's why it made no sense. If anything, she should have been the daughter of Luke and of Han and Leia, instead of what this turned out to be. What a mess. Really, what a mess. A lot of the stuff that George Lucas promoted heroism, mythology, harkening things back to the past, and the people of today that are creating all this stuff reject history, they reject the past, they reject heroism, they reject all that stuff, they embrace Satanism and just horrible stuff. And that's why, in a big way, that they had to sort of deconstruct all the great heroes from this franchise. They had to destroy Han Solo, who was a deadbeat father, a terrible father. They had to do that when he turned himself into a really good hero. He was a great character and he was a good hero, and they had to sort of deconstruct him to the point where he's a deadbeat father, or he wasn't there for his son. Princess Leia had no role in these movies. She really didn't. If you look at it, Carrie Fisher had no role in these movies at all whatsoever. That's a problem, as you know. And of course, the sort of disgusting way they treated Luke Skywalker to where he didn't want to like help others. The one thing we learned about Luke in the very beginning in episode 4 is he was very given to help. He wanted to help others. He wanted to get off of, one of the worst places that he could think of, and that's home. And one of the things he wanted to do is he was willing to help others. And he was willing to help his friends and willing just to help strangers. But in the world of the globalists, in the world of the communists, you cannot help others. That is too much. That's too Christ-like. That's too much of being a good Samaritan, of wanting to help others. You can't do that. All this stuff is rejected by these people, and the past is rejected. So that's why, when Rey hands him that lightsaber, he throws it over his shoulder. That's not something that a hero would do. That's not something a character of the background of Luke would do. Some of the things made no sense. He had zero compassion for his nephew, Ben, who was dealing with all kinds of stuff with the dark side. He could do nothing to bring him back to the light. When he was able to bring, just think about this. This was a character that was able to bring Darth Vader back to the light after all the horrible things that Anakin had done, all the horrible things that Vader had done. He did the impossible. He brought his father back. But for some reason, he couldn't do that with his nephew, and he couldn't bring his friend and his nephew and had some kind of way of reconciling the differences there. He couldn't do that. Instead, he tried to kill his nephew. You learn that in The Last Jedi. He tried to kill his nephew. It makes no sense. And to do it in such a cowardly way, he was going to kill him in his sleep. He was going to kill him in his sleep. A very strange kind of way to sort of show the history of a hero. But that's kind of what they decided to do. And they wanted everything to be female-centric. So you had to destroy the male figure. You had to destroy the father figure. You had to destroy the hero. Which in mythology and film and all the great stories, they've always been male. They've always been men. They've always been men. Never been women, very rarely. But in these movies and in these stories, the heroes have always been the men doing great things. And, of course, we know Leia did a lot of stuff in the third movie, in episode 6. But, again, you did not have so many great things that you wanted to have in The Force Awakens. It would have been great to see the 3 protagonists from the first series of movies together again. They never had them on screen together. Ever. They were never on screen together, 3 of them. Han and Luke were never together, ever in the movies. Leia and Luke were kind of sort of there. And of course, Leia and Han were there in episode 7 together. But really, I don't blame Hamill for not wanting to be involved anymore, because he knows that it's a mess. I think if they had done a much better job in those movies, I don't think he'd have a problem coming back. But he should have been much more forceful, no pun intended, and really started complaining about how his character was being treated in that movie during production. He should have went to Kathleen Kennedy and said, "Look, I can't do this character the way it's been being done." And for some reason, he just sort of rolled over. Didn't want to do that. Went along with the director, Rian Johnson. One of the worst things to happen to Star Wars. But it was meant to be disruptive. It was meant to disrupt everything. It's all meant to be disruptive of everything. You think he's a hero? He's not a hero. You think he's going to do something heroic? He's not really going to do something heroic. And if he does, it's strange. Well, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the Comic Book Hut, and I'll see you later.